Good afternoon, Mac. This is Joe. Let's take a look at the budget first. Let you know that what we did. Here's the spreadsheet, not or the. I just did a manual sheet for you, but the new car spin. April, May, June, July, August, September. Snuck in October. We're dropping the geofencing and the Houston impressions. Okay, bringing that budget down to about 18,000. Hoping for that 110. Give you the 164 PVR. And then the used car Acura side, October, you can see Cap One is not on this month. It's on at Auto Mall, so that gives you a relief of about $11,000 every other month. These are all our normal spins. Al and I had agreed that we should kill the KBB. We added the KBB program on top of the standard one, the trade-in center, and we're not seeing the return. I don't necessarily have to kill it. Everything else performs well. All these things do, some way better than others. But what we're going to cut here is Cars Direct Special Finance Leads. We're going to drop them in half a little bit. And Sonny is unable to work that much of a load anyway, and he can get to what he can get to. Geofencing, we're going to drop that. Lot Links has been doing remarkably well for us. We had 25 vehicles sold, 20 used, 5 new, and I can verify that by VIN and through analytics. Houston Impressions again dropping it, and then the biggest one is HQ Mailer. So instead of 116,000, which you asked me to boost it to get you the traffic we had the same month last year, which I was able to match or surpass, and I'll show you just in a second. I've dropped that budget down to about 77,000. So combined, you're sitting at 95, 77 plus 18, right? Sitting at 95,000 for new and used Acura. So if we do that, they do 220. You're at 350 PVR, and your combined PVR 351, 164. Let's just see what that looks like. 351, 164. Yeah, you're at 257, so you're like way below 20 group. So depending on what the budget allows, I may, make a few $1,000s here or there adjustment and still stay within 100,000. I think 95 is safe. Some of these are shared bills. In other words, they're split with new cars and or vice versa. So it's not like used cars are just getting all those leads. Automall, you can kind of see these are real, delivery numbers. As you look at this, these are real delivery numbers. I'm gonna have to go back and check on that one. Last month, I think was 190. They had 210. I think y'all netted 190 something. Anyway, we're gonna do the same thing. Santander's not this month, but it'll be the following month at opposites of Cap One, only at Auto Mall, because Auto Mall is the only store you got that's approved with Cap One. Santander. Then you got geofencing and Houston Impressions we're going to cut, and then of course the HQ Mailer, right? So you got $66,000 dropped from 89. They did 110 last month. I think they held it. It was 1.7 a month before. But we spent 55,000 here and did 110 and 108. So it's a clear indication that it's going to get back down to process. But anyway, 66,130, your PVR is 514. So I've given you a dramatic drop in budget, sir. If I'm under 100,000, I'm knocking on the door of 150,000 for Auto Mall, Acura, new and used, which is pretty decent. Just don't want to cut our legs. So that's just the budget. I'll shoot you over that form and wanted you to see the results of last month. Let me just blow that up a little bit. If you're watching this, you can see that internet ups were 2,054. That was through the month of September. We had 1,257 the month before. Even if I were to take out the 400 that HQ Mailer provided us over here at Acura and Auto Mall got about the same count anyway, you're still way above 400 leads normal leads above the prior month. So we were able to get you some traffic. So that's one indication that we trended it up for you. Okay. Let's take a look here. Let's look at the year-over-year picture. 9/30. So this is through 9/30/17 through 9/30. 9/1 to 9/30. 2016, and you can see here we had that lead count up, but we sold 106 through internet versus 87 last year from the guys. From the boys, we're up on units on that. What was interesting here, phone pops were less than what these guys had showed, but we sold 59 cars versus new and used, and they sold 23. So we actually are showing an increase. And this is the guys flagging and tagging. However the Hamoods did it last year and however our guys are doing it this year, this is what it melts down to you at. Here's what's interesting. The walk-in lot, 356 this year, September versus last year. We sold 158 units. They're saying they sold 269. And the problem I have with that, I showed this to Al, you got 128 used ups that they sold 220 cars to. 171% closing ratio? I don't think so. But you can see our new used combined shows 30%, 50% for a combined 40. And that's a showed walk-in, which could be a phone pop appointment or predominantly an internet lead. When these guys have a good weekend like Automall did, at the month end, Dwight's complimenting me on, those CarGuru leads are up and the chats and the stuff you're talking about is up. So I'm actually getting good feedback, but it just still comes back down to that conversion. And I feel like new cars here, according to this, looks like they made a little headway. Comment was made to me that you spent more money and we didn't sell more cars. We got you more traffic. Our numbers are better than the guys last year. It's going to come back down to inspection and process, Looks like there was a snafu on a new car, probably 1, maybe 2 response times. I did show Nick about that. I usually do a screenshot of things, how they respond to stuff. Used car still on top of the game, even with a combination of 18 minutes. Nothing to shake the house over, That's just a good coach moment where you go ask him and he'll go, oh yeah, there was that one, or he'll remember that 1 or 2 that might have gotten away from them. So when you see that, you can kind of go, I'm really not doing too bad, but the answer for why they didn't sell more cars for you, sir, would lie between who's inspecting and what are they really looking for. I had a barrage of things to show you, but that's really what you want to see. This is the lot links that you saw on that budget for the 6,000. You can see that we had 212 targeted people that shopped our cars, right? They looked at 205. So that means we are following 212 of people that looked 205 of our cars. We had 189 people engaged, 37 were sold, and I can verify that by VIN, and I have it to analytics. So you can see this tool is digital, strictly digital. Doesn't really send you leads. That's accurate, by the way. But what it does is enhances the searcher directly to your inventory, which results in a sale, right? So you can kind of see the numbers here. Campaign was $28 per VIN, which is pretty good. They're usually about $40 per VIN for per 1,000 impressions, so I can give you an idea. Digital. This right here is Automall. Targeted 112 people. They looked at 111 of our cars. We got 109 engaged. 36 sold here as well. This 37 up here was 21 used, and I think it was the rest was in new. So not a bad outing. To give you an idea, this one was about $40 per VIN. So they're scratching the surface a little harder at Automall. We still seem to have some chronic problems from the days gone by. of where the way things were set up. Anyway, you know, they're working. They had a good weekend. It's like Dwight says, yeah, the car gurus and that type of thing is up. And what that's telling me is, you know, when they sell a nice handful of cars and make gross, it came from appointments, not walk-ins. As you can see from the reporting, most of your business is internet. Um, you know, the Automo, I'll show that one to you. This is your month-end number. We had 1144 right here, 1144, okay, and 545 the month before. We were pacing 1183. I'm a little behind the previous year, but there's a couple reasons that I can tell you that that's happening. Here's your year over year. We were 1144. They had 1498, 354. At this same month last year, they had Cars Direct leads and Auto Credit Express, which was 350 special finance leads at Auto Credit Express. They were buying that. Of course, we're not buying it. Cars Direct bought out Ace Auto Credit Express, so we're unable to double that, but no need to double special finance leads. You can see, though, with the amount of traffic we had, we only sold 44, so the closing ratio is lower than it was the prior year, but nothing to write home about. You look at the phone pops, they said they had 789 phone pops. And you know, when you look at that, we sold 39, they sold 61 out of 789, something there. It could have been other traffic that got stolen from this count and marked in here, but that counted automatically because it came in as a lead, but they manually put it in as a phone. That happened a lot over there. But anyway, 61 to 39, you know, 22 units difference, and you're talking about 3 times the amount of phone pops, so something weird. And you also got 89 here, walk in 122. We sold 25, they sold 63. Well, that's actually a good ratio. They're closing, you know, what is it, 50%, and we're closing 28. One of my fears is the counting of that lead or the lead types. Let's take a look at the response time real quick, and I'll give you an example of what I mean. Response time, they had a snafu. They had one that got away from them. That's 188 minutes. That somehow, some way, they just didn't understand. Here again goes to training and making sure they're understanding, you know, email, phone, text, qualified type stops the clock. If you get a duplicate lead, the leads will merge, but they still have to stop the clock on that second one, and I think they didn't understand that. And once it merges, the response time will go to the original lead, which these guys are doing pretty good. They're around 15 minutes or less. Typically, nothing to be worried about, just able to identify one little issue, right? So, but the reason why I was concerned about the lead count being off, maybe the phone counts being off. Here's a good example. We've got, you know, these leads here, this Ricky Esparza and this person here, and they've been marked in the system. They're Auto Trader. They come in as internet leads, but they've been marked in the system as a campaign. And that's going to skew your numbers a little bit. So I'm a bit, not leery, just optimistically cautious when they tell me things are down and bad. You know, VT stores typically were notorious for not counting the ups that they didn't sell instead of counting all the ups. And then, you know, at the same time, Berkshire Hathaway owns VT, and so they are not operating the way they used to years ago. They got 40 of me and a multi-million-dollar national budget that they have some cool things and widgets that we can't buy at that price because of their buying power. So, but our analytics, our data, our numbers, they look great as far as the digital presence and what anybody could do. I would match it up against anybody. For the money that I have to spend, we do a really good job. But it still comes back down to these leads and these third parties that we're buying. We're really not buying a bunch of trash. We just need people to start working the individual accounts. Carfax has come to light. Car Gurus has come to light. Pure Cars has always done good. Auto Trader's there, but it's just not really paying us back as much as we're spending. So it's something we might need to talk about in the near future. Our new chat tool costs nothing here, and it's doing great. Dealer Wizard, it's not that expensive. Those are the mailers, and the equity mining tool, it's quite a bit less than what we used to have. When Mr. Vu worked it, it was great. So he's got to teach his protege. Had a lot of Vietnamese people here this past weekend, right? Is what Al said, but I thought he was at Automall, so I'm not real sure. The geofencing, you know, I can replace that by bumping our website package and then just doing it ourselves. A lot of links I wouldn't replace. Houston Impressions, we ran it for a month, and you sold in the single to the low double digits at Acura, and then single digits over there at Automall. But it was pretty cheap to grab somebody from 5 hours away, and they'll still keep coming. But we're just not going to keep spending the money until the end of the year, unless you recommend it. Anyway, so there we are. I think there's always things to challenge. I'm not at a loss. I had 5 or 6 things I wanted to bring to the plan and replace that 20,000 that we killed, but in this case, looks like we're just going to cut and hold tight a little bit this month. And that's fine. I'll do harder digital work on the free side and see if I can make up some slack for us. In the meantime, you had traffic, better traffic at Acura, good traffic at Automall compared to months past. And you know, when you got 1,000 leads, even if you were to take that 1,200 minus the 400 of HQ mailer, you really you know, you still really had, you know, quite a bit more traffic coming in. But here's the deal: you had about $26,000 made on this 20,000 for about 10 units at the Acura store, and I'm still only finding about 2 cars made for about $3,000 or $4,000 made at Automall. So you know, it's effort, mindset. That's how it goes. Anyway, sir, hope you enjoyed the video. Wanted you to have the info relayed directly to you. Thank you.